surface area and volumes of 3D figures. So an overview. So the surface area is the area of all the faces, sides, I like to think of them, added together. And volume is the amount of space a figure takes up, or how I like to think of it is the amount of space that fills the figure. So a little quick example. Surface area, so basically since this is a cube, we just need to find the area of one cube or one side of the cube and multiply that by 6 since there are 6 sides. So area equals length times width of the square, so 4 times 4 equals 16. That's the area of one square, and then multiply that by 6 and you get 96 is this total surface area. And volume equals length times width times height. So we have all those here, so 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And that is surface area and volume. Prisms are solids with common polygons for tops and bottoms, so like a square, a triangle, a pentagon, and a hexagon, etc. So also like octagons and stuff, and rectangles for all other faces. So as you can see, for say the third one, the pentagon for top and bottom, and then rectangles for all other faces. And they don't have to just be tops and bottoms, like for example the triangular prism, they're the sides, but they just mean 2 sides with common polygons and then the rest rectangles. So now let's do a little example. Okay, so here we have a triangular prism and we need to find surface area and volume. So first let's do surface area. Now they expect you to know certain things here. So for surface area, first of all, so we know we need, so there are three rectangles, so 3R, so the area of 3 rectangles plus the area of the 2 triangular faces, so plus 2T for triangles. Now it's pretty simple to find the area of the rectangles because that's just 4 by 10. So R equals 4 by 10, which equals 40. So 3R, 40 by 3, equals 120. Now for 2T, so if you recall, the area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. However, we don't have the height here. So what they expect you to know is, since this is an equilateral triangle, if you split it, I'll just do it here. If you split it down the middle, this actually turns into a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So that'll be 90, 30, 60. Same for this side. And that's how you can find the height. Right, so a 30, 60, 90 triangle has this formula. This is x, so this is 2x, which is the hypotenuse, and this other leg is x root 3. Now if we apply it to this triangle in our little problem, oopsie, since it's split down the middle, this becomes 2. We don't need to worry about this because we're just trying to find the height, so 2 root 3 would be the height, but just that's 4, which makes sense because it's the same as that value right there. So now that we have the height, we can find the area. So A equals 1/2, base is 4, height is 2 root 3. And if we simplify that, this cancels out and this becomes a 2, 4 root 3. Now we can take this and plug it into here because remember this is just the area of one of the faces, but we want to find 2. We need 2 of the faces to find total surface area. So, and then we'll just do 2 steps in one here. 120, which is the areas of the rectangles, plus 2 times 4 root 3 equals 120 plus 8 root 3. And I'm sure we'll have a calculator for this. So that's 13.86 basically. So plus 120 is 133.86. approximately. Oopsie, that was a bad box. Anyways, volume equals area of the base times height. So if we flip this on, so the triangle was like on the bottom, the height would be 10. So volume equals the area of the triangle, which we know is 4 root 3 times the height, which is 10, which equals 40 root 3, or let's plug this into our calculator, 69.282. Okay, cool. Cylinders are prisms that have circles for bases instead of polygons. It's the same concept as prisms for calculating surface area and volume. Volume is the area of the base of the circle times height, and the area of the base of the circle is pi r squared. And to visualize surface area, you can think about unrolling the cylinder, because it actually, if it were to unroll, it would unroll into a perfect rectangle or square, and then you can find the area of the rectangle or square, length by width, and then to find total surface area, you would add that to the area of the two circles on the tops and bottoms. Okay, here's my cylinder prop. So it's a cylinder, right? And okay, just pretend, so the height is 7 and the radius is 3, by the way, in case you want to write that down. But, so it's a cylinder, okay? Don't look at the tape. And then you just imagine unrolling it. So I'm going to cut the tape. Oh my god, look at that. It's a perfect rectangle. So now we're going to use this paper as scratch paper for example, because we don't waste. So here's our picture, and height of 7, radius of 3. Surface area equals, so the area of these guys is pi r squared, and we want 2 of them, so 2 pi r squared plus, and then remember this torso part is basically a rectangle, so so the height would be 7. It's not proportional, it's fine. And this part would be the circumference of, this circle part. So the circumference is equal to, it's 2 pi r, which is, calculator. Oh, I don't even need a calculator. What am I even doing? Equals 6 pi. So then we just multiply these together and we get 42 pi. And I guess we could put this in our calculator. We get 131, so 2 pi r. We should probably do that too. 2 pi r squared is 9. And then we'll just add that to this one. And then we get a total of 188.5 for our surface area. And then for volume, V equals pi r squared times h, and, well, we already did pi r squared. It's this guy divided by 2, because we did 2 pi r squared. So that's 28.27 times height, which is 7. And that equals 197.92. So pyramids, they have a polygon base, but all sides of the pyramid are triangles and meet at the vertex at the top. So the volume equals 1/3 base times height, and surface area equals the area of the triangle times however many sides the base has plus the area of the base. Okay, if that didn't quite make sense, that's okay. We will do an example. Here is my little drawing. Okay, volume first. Volume equals 1/3 base times height. And so base actually doesn't mean 5. It's not the base length. It's actually the base of the base. So it's the area of the square. So the area of a square is just 5 by 5. So V equals 1/3. 5 by 5 is 25 times h, and the height is 8. So let's plug that into our calculator. 25 times 8/3. Okay, so that equals 200/3. And the resource guide didn't simplify it, so I don't think you have to either. Okay, so for surface area, so this is actually a little trickier, which is why there's a little triangle inside the pyramid. You might have been confused on that. So well, let's set this up. So we know that we need to get the area of all the sides. So the area of the base we already established is 25 plus, and since there's 4 sides to a square, it's 4 times whatever the area of one of the triangles is, and we'll call that A. And to find the area of one of the triangles, we know it's 1/2 base times height. And you might think, oh, that's pretty straightforward, but actually the height is not 8, because as you can see, 8 is the height of the pyramid, not the height of one of the triangular faces. So from the drawing, you can see that the height of the triangular faces, can I highlight this, is actually the hypotenuse of this inside triangle. So 8 is only one of the legs. So we need to employ a Pythagorean theorem here. 8, and then since it's straight down the middle, it's 5/2, which is 2.5. And we will call this side C. So C squared equals 8 squared plus 2.5 squared, 64 plus, and then 2.5 squared is 6.25, and that would be 70.25, and then we square root both sides. C equals 8.38, and now, well, 8.382, and now we can substitute this into, so that's our height, or yes, that's our height now, so we can substitute this in here. 1/2 base is 5, and base length, now we use base length because it's just one of the triangles, and 8.382 equals 8.382 times 5 equals 20.95. And now this can be plugged into A, so 25, because that's the area of one of the triangle faces now. So, and then there's 4 of them, so 4 times 20.95, and this gives you a grand total of 108.815 for surface area. Yay! Okay, cones. So just like the volume of pyramids equals 1/3 the volume of prisms, the volume of cones equals 1/3 the volume of cylinders. So volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times height, which the little in parentheses is the volume of the cylinder. And the surface area equals this, and you might be wondering, what's L? L is equal to slant height, and slant height is basically kind of what we just did, in that it's the side, so it's not the vertical height. Oopsie. Nope. It's not the vertical height, but you would have to, if they don't give it to you, you would have to use Pythagorean theorem to find it by using the radius and the vertical height to find the slant height. So yeah, let's do an example. First, we'll do volume. So volume equals 1/3 pi r squared times height. And for height, we can use 12. We can use the vertical height. and not the slant height. So volume equals 1/3 pi r squared. Hopefully everyone knows that's just 25 and 12. Then we plug that into our calculator. 25 times 12. And I would say to not multiply out the pi unless you look at your answer choices and none of them have pi in it. I would say because, you know, pi goes on forever, so there might be like tiny differences in answers. Okay, so volume equals, oopsie, what happened? Nope. Equals 1/3 pi 300, which equals 100 pi. And then if you need to multiply that out, that's basically 314.159. But the resource guide just did 100 pi, so I would probably stick with that. And surface area, so we know that, so let's just write out the formula. Surface area equals pi r squared plus pi r slant height. I'm just going to do that. Okay, so it doesn't look like a 1. So to find slant height, we use the Pythagorean theorem. So 12 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. Or I should do L squared. 144 plus 25 equals L squared. Let's square root both sides and get 169 equals L squared, and L equals 13. Kind of lost my mind there for a sec. Okay, pi, now r squared is, so 25 pi plus pi times 5 times 13, which is 25 pi plus 65 pi, which equals 90 pi. And if you need to multiply that out, that's about 282.74. But again, the resource guide just left it at 90 pi, so probably a safe bet to just leave it at that. Okay, last but not least, spheres. So the surface area formula is 4 pi r squared, and the volume formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. And a fun little fact is Archimedes discovered that for a sphere with radius r and an open cylinder with radius r and height 2r, the sphere fits exactly inside the cylinder. Okay, oh yes. Okay, so here our example is a little bit different. So they give us the surface area. Surface area equals 44 pi. And they want us to find volume. Question mark, what is volume? Okay, so we know that volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And we know everything except r, so we need to find r. Well, since they give us surface area, the equation for surface area is 4 pi r squared. I forgot it for a second. And we can equate that to 44 pi because we know surface area equals 44 pi. So we can cross out the pi's on both sides and divide everything by 4. That leaves us with r squared, so these cancel, becomes 11, equals 11, so r equals square root 11. Now we can find volume by plugging this into here. So volume equals 4/3 pi, and then the square root of 11 is 3.32 about, and then we can cube that, which gives us 4/3 pi 36.48, and then we can multiply that by 4/3, which is about 48.64 pi, or 153.286. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, thank you for watching this video.